Welcome to Ephesians 4:12 Ministry. My name is James, and today we have a special guest, Keith. And today we're going to talk about personal testimonies. Revelation 12:11 says we overcome by the power of the blood and by the word of our personal testimony. You've got a great testimony to share. There were things going on in your home. You had bad influences. You had pornography. You had some open hatches to the demonic. How did all of this that's been happening to your life, post-traumatic stress disorder, all these other things that you mentioned, being bullied, how did that play a part in your conversion?
I was suicidal. I wanted to run away, but I had nowhere to run away to. So I was just decided that I was going to kill everyone at school and kill my parents and kill myself.
Was there one event or something that happened that triggered you reaching out in desperation to God and getting this connection that would change your life? I mean, share that with us, that moment.
We had a state youth convention that our youth group would go to every year in October. And at 14, I went, and the Holy Spirit really tugged on my heart to give my life to the Lord, but I refused, and was stubborn, and I just don't know why. And that next year was 94 to 95 was just atrocious. That's the year when all of those things really kind of came to a head. Suicide, the nightmares, the PTSD, and it was all about love. And so the next year rolls around and I go to this convention again. And this whole sermon is about one person in the room. It's about me. And a man named Reggie Dabbs tells a story about a boy and his shoebox, which he carries with him everywhere. And doesn't matter where he goes. If he goes to the bathroom, he goes to the gym, he goes to school, he's got this shoebox with him. He comes home from school one day, and he gets a letter. The letter's from his dad. And he opens it up, runs into his room, reads it, and it's from his father saying how worthless he is, and that he hates him, and that he wishes he was never born, and that he's a waste of flesh. Something to that effect. And he takes that shoebox, or he takes the letter and puts it in the shoebox with all the other letters from his dad. And one day, someone invites him to church, and so he decides that he's going to go, and he hears the sermon. And at the end of the sermon, he takes his shoebox and he leaves it on the altar, and he walks away. And an angel comes and picks up the shoebox very gently, very respectfully, and takes it to heaven. And he walks into the throne room, and Jesus sees that and begins to weep. He says, "I know what that is." And I don't remember much of the story after that. I started to break, and then he began to tell the story of Stephen the martyr. And he said, I'm shortening it greatly here, he said, everywhere else in the Bible you see Jesus seated at the right hand of power. He is seated at the right hand of God. In this one place, Stephen obeys the Holy Spirit with such conviction, it cuts the crowd to the quick, and they stone him. And while he's being stoned, he looks into heaven and he says, I see the Son of Man standing. And when he said standing, there was a curtain that peeled back over the stage, and there was a man there. They had created a little scene of a throne with little white puffy clouds and a man in a Jesus costume, and he stands and he claps. Stephen received a standing ovation from the Almighty. from Jesus Christ himself. And that whole idea related to me in such a way because I, who wanted desperately to please anyone, couldn't do so. And I made everyone else mad. I was always screwing up. I couldn't do anything right. And when I saw Stephen please God by making everyone else angry to the point they wanted to kill him, I said, I can do that. I can do that. And that's when I broke. I just broke. But I was still under such a demonic oppression, standing in that church, the Crossroads Cathedral in Oklahoma City. I couldn't physically move. And I said to the Lord, my youth pastor walks past me out to the aisle, and he turns and he points his finger at me and says, don't let the devil steal your victory. And I told the Lord that I want to go down there, but I can't. So I couldn't physically move. So I'm standing there, and my shoulder went up like this, and something shoved me out into the aisle. And it was down a ramp. And I felt a hand on my back from here to here that covered me and shoved me on my toes down the aisle into the altar. And these demons flew out, and I was saved and filled with the baptism of the Holy Spirit in one shot at the age of 15, and I have not been the same.
Wow.
So all of that anger that I had been harboring left, and I was free and clean.
Wow. We're going to be sharing more personal testimonies like this from people that are in our community. We're so grateful that Keith came by today and had the courage to turn around and talk about some very difficult moments in his life. What a powerful testimony that Keith had shared today, and we really believe if you share this with others, it'll give them hope. Keith, are there any final comments you want to make?
God is merciful, and his love endures forever.